There it is. Good morning, everyone. Good to see you. We'll get started in a few minutes just to give some more people time to join. Hello, how's everyone doing? Just taking another minute to admit more people into the meeting, and then we can get started once most everyone's here. All right, well, it is 11:02, almost 11:03. So let me go ahead, get this started. Well, again, good morning. Great to have everyone here. Looking forward to delivering this July issue of the Community Call. I think we're going to go over the some new things with content migration and the roadmap for website services. And then kind of towards the end, we'll discuss a little more clarity around the posting that I added to Slack about Layout Builder going forward, so we can answer any and all of your questions around that. So I'm going to go ahead and turn things over to Kylie to get this kicked off.
Yes, and I keep hitting the wrong button, so I'm very sorry. All right, so good morning, everybody. So welcome to the June call. We're very excited to go over with you. We have a couple things for you today, but definitely lots of information. So we'll try not to get too in the weeds as we go through this. But today's agenda is going to be the Layout Builder migration, upcoming releases, the product roadmap demo, which is a very exciting tool that we have for you guys, some updates on CKEditor. The poll question actually got moved up, so it'll be right up here after the releases. So we moved this around just a few minutes ago, and then any sort of Q&As. But as always, use the chat at any point, ask questions at any point. We're here to help support you at any point. So feel free, it's an open dialogue. At that point, I think I'm passing it off to Avi for the content migration section.
Yep, Tom is actually gonna
kick us off.
Tom Scarborough, yep.
Sorry, let me take myself back off of you. So yeah, so I just wanted to provide some clarity again around what I had said on Slack about Layout Builder. Basically, what we're promoting is that before the September Layout Builder release, that working with Layout Builder basically be more of a effort for research and to understand how you would create content with it and to build your comfort level around creating that content. You can go ahead and certainly release content as well, but if you do, just make sure that before that September release that you pay extra attention to testing and monitoring in case there is some very, very slight issues come up while we're iterating over those controls. So that predicament relates to the first initial version of Layout Builder, especially the version that we are providing, we being the YUSA cloud hosting service. But by the September release, that will mitigate against those possible issues. So anyway, to discuss that in more detail, let me turn it over to Avi and Shelby.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for that introduction, Tom. So I'm going to, as Tom said, give a little bit more background as to how we got where we are, and what's coming for the future of Layout Builder. So as you can see here, I've kind of put together the timeline. The work for Layout Builder started in December of 2022, where we released the first prototype that introduced the landing page Layout Builder content type with a handful of basic components that would be necessary to build a one-off landing page. In March of 2023, we expanded that. We doubled the number of components that were available on the landing page content type. We also added the branch content type to be able to start kind of expanding the work that you are doing with Layout Builder. And we also started some of the initial work on customization. With the June release of this year, we iterated on all of those. We reskinned most of the components with a new cohesive, brand compliant, accessible design system. We also added some basic customization with colorways and a few other options to be able to further refine and iterate on the designs that we did in the first couple versions. There were also some editor experience updates as well to really help you be able to more efficiently create those pages. This is, as you can see, we're already into 9 months of work already done. And it's it's been a huge lift to build all of these things and create this experience for our users. Going forward, for the September release, we're looking to have feature completion for the Layout Builder components, which means fully customizable components. It means accessibility and everything. It means SEO updates, and it means that all of the content types that are planned to be migrated will have their corresponding Layout Builder versions. So you'll be able to complete a full migration to a cohesive Layout Builder-based site. In December of 2023, we're looking at further refining that. We're going to be bringing in demo content. So instead of building your own stuff, you'll be able to spin up a whole new site out of the box and customize it with demo content and site architecture. We've got iconography that's on its way, and more bug fixes and community-driven improvements. So for a lot of that work, we're looking for you all to give us feedback on what you've seen in the last year and help us make it better. Next slide. Cool. So moving the timeline forward then, in 2024, we're going to be doing long-term support on Paragraphs. So you're going to have basically a year from the feature complete update of Layout Builder until we're dropping support for Paragraphs. So what that means is you'll have a full year to kind of go through the process and understand and plan and implement a migration. And in that time, Paragraphs will remain in the distribution, and it will receive security and accessibility updates. Currently, the plan is for September of, this is 24, apologies about that. So September of 2024.
Oops, sorry about that.
Yep.
There we go.
There we go. So September 2024, so 1 year from this September, the plan is to end support for the paragraph-based content types, in website services. So that means we won't be maintaining those paragraphs-related functionalities, any of the paragraphs-based content types. But with that said, your development partner can still maintain support indefinitely. The Drupal community will still most likely be maintaining the paragraphs module. And so if you choose, you can continue to work with that.
I just want to add a quick note here before we move to this next slide. there's no harm. You can stay on them for a long time, but also the further refinement section here that looks like it ends in December will go on indefinitely. We know that the community will have, and we hope you continue to provide us feedback on Layout Builder and how we can do things better and different tools and functionalities that you may need. So further refinement is a long-term process. Further refinement means effectively moving it into a maintenance and improvement-based space for us. And so it won't just end at the end of December. It will continue on through 2024. And then till the Drupal community comes up with something that is different than Layout Builder, it'll continue until that point, which at this point we have no insight on, so I don't want to freak you out, but until that changes, that will stay indefinitely. Cool. All right.
Yeah, so that's kind of the timeline for Layout Builder and beyond, and we wanted to kind of give folks one possibility of where of how we recommend moving forward. We've been trying to evolve our communication about this and help folks understand what to do with the things we've released so far. And we've heard some feedback that it's been challenging to understand. You know, we put out a content type, we put out some pieces. It's been challenging for folks to understand what they can do with that or what they're expected to do with the pieces that we've been releasing as we iterate on this functionality. So one of the migration strategies that we've talked about with some of our clients, with the community, is you know, starting with one-off pages. So this was possible with the very first release. We had enough enough building blocks that you could build a page with Layout Builder and see how it worked. And so that's kind of how we recommend starting. Just see how the experience works, see what it looks like, and see what kind of building a new page would look like. Where we are now, we've released enough content types, we've iterated on them, we've got some really great designs, and we think right now the experience is at the point where you could build a whole section of the site with it. You could kind of do a site audit, you could understand the pieces of your site, and you could take you know, something that requires some interesting layouts and move it all together into Layout Builder. We want to make sure folks understand that the Layout Builder pages are going to look different than the rest of the site. And so when you do that migration, you're going to be creating a disjointed experience for your users. That's a decision that you have to make, but it's okay. You know, sites look different, websites change, and especially if you choose a discrete section, we think you can be successful in slowly migrating pieces of the site. Then, you know, in September, once we release the kind of the feature complete version, that's when you'll be able to migrate all of the pieces of your site, all of your, you know, camps, locations, branches, all of those things. So this is just kind of one strategy. And again, you've got to kind of figure out what works for you. But as we iterate through the functionality, we think folks can be able to iterate through kind of their migrations as well. Cool. As I said, we've provided a few tools to help with that. In May, Shelley reviewed how to do a content audit. So I just kind of wanted to re-highlight that here. We've shared, Shelley, maybe you can grab that link and put it into the chat. Yeah, so David's asking if the migration is manual or if there's an automated process. Yeah, we've been trying to communicate throughout the process. It will be a manual migration to the Layout Builder pages. So,
and I wanted to add into here for everybody who knows me. I tried to avoid this at all costs. Every developer who's on this call today had to sit with me for hours as I said, but what if we tried this? What if we tried that? What if we did it a different way? Unfortunately, the only solution to this right now is a manual migration. So you have to physically copy and paste your content from one structure to the next. to make it move over there. But I do want to assure you that I did ask people on this call and people outside this call in the generalized Drupal community, and they all came back to me with the same answer, which is no. Unfortunately, that's not a viable possibility. So putting that out into there, we did ask. I have been asking it for about 12 months now, and not got the answer I like. Andrew's correct. It does work, but it's not going to work for you in the way that you need it to work. It's very messy. So use the sheet that Shelley provided to help structure it out. And it is also a good time. We've heard from a lot of Ys, especially since we're sort of coming out of COVID. COVID created a lot of legacy pages, content that is not for real life anymore or part of your day-to-day. It's a good opportunity to do a little bit of a housekeeping on your website and clean up some of those pages that are no longer used or no longer required, doing a little bit of a deletion process. And so it's a great opportunity to do all of that at the same time, if and when you are ready to embark on this journey.
Yeah, thanks, Kelly. Yeah, so as Kelly said, this is kind of one of the ways that you can work to understand your site. Putting your whole site structure into a spreadsheet, reviewing key pages, sections, older duplicate content, gaps in your content, looking at common page components in those pages, and understanding how you might put together your new pages, and then going through the documentation and understanding the new components, the way they go together, and how you might start building those pieces of the site, and also figuring out where you're going to start, whether you're going to start with the least complex pages or the most complex, if you're going to start with the most used sections or the least used sections of the site. We talked about events with some folks and said, it's okay to not migrate, everything. You might want to leave like events that happened in the past in the old layout and not migrate them. So these are all pieces to consider as you're kind of going through your audit.
And when we post the slides, we can also post just a reminder copy of this migration document, so you guys can see it again.
Yeah, and I put it in the chat as well. There's a link to that template that we built. And again, one more shout out for the docs. We've been working really hard to make sure that we have as much information as possible in the documentation to help folks understand. And I think it's a really big tool to understand, especially with all of these new components, new content types. We've gone through step by step to help you understand what's there and what's available. So we've got lists of components and what they look like. Yeah. Yeah, we've got how to customize them. We've got videos describing them. We've got screenshots describing them. I also, in the chat, I just added, I've started a new how-to section. So the kind of sketches of the content audit and migration documentation are in there now. And we'll be fleshing those out as we go forward. So if as we experience these, as we work with clients, as you work with things, we'd love to have your thoughts, your feedback on how we can make this stuff better.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
That's it.
That's it. We get to move into the upcoming release stuff, which is a lot. So as I make our way through it, we recently, if you didn't see it, we recently did a point release. These happen from time to time. What a point release means in this version of site is anything that sometimes we deliver stuff and it's not perfect and we have to own the fact that it's not perfect. We delivered a few items to you in your June release that we quickly identified had a few bugs. There will never be a new feature in a point release. There will just be cleanups to existing features. So we did a couple cleanups to the donation piece, as well as menus, as well as the amenities filter piece and some activity finder issues. The details are all here on them. It would have all been put in for the menu, and the donation section were actually part of the June release that had some bugs that we noticed as we were doing the final merge on the day of the release. So those have all now been fixed and are available to the public, and that was sent out a couple weeks ago. As we move into September, this is what is coming. So when we say design system, these are all the fun things that make it enjoyable for you guys as content editors to have control of your site. You're going to get corner radiuses, which is the curvature, whether it's how angular it is, border styles, text button alignment will all be coming on the component level. And so those are the further to make the design system and the colorways we've discussed work better. The final versions, the final content type that Avi mentioned during the migration will be ready, and that is Camp. Camp is the last one that we're working on. Camp's getting a major glow up, I'm not going to lie, in terms of its functionalities than it had previously. Its menu system is far superior than what we've ever done before. So a big shout out to the team, and we're very excited to show you that as we go through it. There's some additional redesigned components that you'll start to see, some versions of the banner, the small banner, and a couple of grid options. So those are all coming for us as well. We've got some IT stuff. So a migration from CKEditor 4 to CKEditor 5. We've got accessibility remediation for screen readers, for all of that stuff to ensure that we are WCAG AA. Is that what we're aiming for, Shelley? Keep me honest. AA
Yep.
compliant throughout all of the sandboxes. And then what Shelley's going to show you today, which is coming today, the public roadmap portal for the site. So that's going to come here in a few minutes. Coming between the September release and the December release, we're just working on this right now, will be another point release we already know, which will include the demo content for the site. The purpose of this demo content, and it'll be in the sandboxes, will be when you download, if you're considering moving to the distribution, when you download the distribution, it'll come pre-populated with iconography, photography, all that sort of stuff that is both brand compliant, written by YUSA, and that will give you a really good running start of a brand new site. So you're free to use all of that content. And for those who are upgrading, you can take it as well. It will mean your partner can make it available to you. So that'll be coming in the fall. And the goal of that content is just to make the onboarding of this just a little bit easier and more efficient for you all. Then in December, this will be our last bit of heavy lifting that has to come, and it's unfortunate for our Canadian friends, but they will get their Canadian colorway in December. We had hoped to have it for September, but Canada went and changed their brand guidelines on us just very recently. So they look beautiful, Canada, great job. But we're gonna get those implemented here in the December version of that. We're working with YUSA to get iconography inputted, and then any UX improvements that come out of people who are early adopters for our American friends in that September release. We know going into this that you're going to tell us there's things we can do better. We appreciate that feedback, and that's why we have this product board, so we can give you a very effective way to give us that feedback. Drupal 10.1 upgrade, as well as a PHP core and some Symfony stuff. So those are all some technical stuff that are important to site security and website support. Another feature that we're working on, which is the promotional content type for internal ads. This is a system within the site that will allow you to create marketing campaigns throughout your site and have it display in various content types. Shelley's still working on the details of that, but it'll be coming here shortly. We're looking at some advanced filtering for Activity Finder, and just a shout out to everybody here. We're going to be asking you questions on this because we need to know how you name things, what labeling choices you use. So that'll be coming in the August community call, so that we can start looking at, is it season, is it session, what kind of wording do you use, so we can put in what is the most commonly chosen vernacular. And then just some weekly schedules for a print schedule to make that a little bit more improved. So those are all the things that are kind of coming in the fall here. For March, we are moving into our thematic releases. So March is going to be surrounding around community support. We're looking at donations, volunteerism, community involvement, and marketing automation for that March release. And we're starting to do some investigation on that. And we're putting in planning. So if there are things that your Y needs that fall into the community support realm, please let us know. We would love to speak with you. We can even set up a call if you have very specific ideas with us, and to try to better understand your needs. We were very grateful for that. And before we move into the product roadmap, which is what we're going to show you next, we have a quick poll for you all. So I'm going to let Shelley take you through that. Oh, just one second before you answer the poll that just popped up on your screen. Shelley's going to explain to you what the poll is. So I don't know if I can.
And actually, can you take me to the next slide there? Perfect.
There you go.
Yeah. And you might want to just move the poll to the side so you can see this slide here. What we'd like to know is whether or not your association is currently using the program and program subcategory content types on your website. And you'd be able to identify this by going into your admin backend, and you would see content types for program and subprogram that would have content. And they would also have these little screenshots where you would fill in your categories listing for each content type, and then your title, and then the title program. This is a slightly different structure than if you're using landing pages for your programs. So what we're curious about here is going forward, we'd like to know if there's enough buy-in from the community in order to continue to support these content types, moving them into Layout Builder. So rather than assuming people are using them, we'd like to hear directly from you. And what we'll do is we'll can actually take you over to the product roadmap website next and show you exactly how to submit some additional information on this question if you'd like to do so. So let me go ahead and pull up my screen. Just give me 1 second here. Make sure I have the right one. Okay. Here we are.
So while Shelly's bringing it up, the purpose of this site that she's going to show you is to create transparency between everything that we are hoping to working on, and feedback from you guys to come in the future. This is publicly available. You don't need to have a username or a password to get into it. And it's something that we hope you incorporate into your day-to-day working structure. All right, Shelly.
Yeah, thanks, Kylie. So here we have the current product roadmap website. We've got the URL up here, which we'll share with you all. It's currently connected onto our dsdocs.y.org website. Avi was nice enough to add a nice link here for the roadmap right in the top left corner. So when you click here, you'll arrive on this embedded website page, and it'll start you on this launched tab. And this is our tab that houses all of the lovely information about all the stuff we've released in the past 3 releases starting in December. So if you'd like, you can go through, you can take a look at all of these items, you can submit feedback. So say you've got some problem with your Layout Builder version 1 information, Layout Builder version 1 going on, and you want to submit some information. What you can do, even on an existing feature, it's been released already, maybe there's something critical going on and you say, I have a critical issue with accordions. They just don't work. Help. And this is a great way for us to receive your feedback and know that somebody at this exact association is having a problem. So then you would enter your email address.
We'd love if you
What
could
the
add
system will do is
even
it'll
more
actually have you
detail.
confirm your email. So you will have to confirm your email address in order to submit. And that's just so the system knows that you're actually a legit person and we're not just having weird submissions come in from other places. But once you submit, confirm your email, this is submitted. You don't have to do anything else. And then I get a message on our side in there via their admin portal showing me that somebody's got a problem with this, and I can reach out to you directly via email, or we can have a Slack conversation, we can have a call. There's all other kinds of ways we can interact once we hear back from you guys on this exact input. So I'll take you through some of the sections of the site. For our upcoming release for September, you can find more detailed information here. So I know we just had a quick little slide with an overview of what's being released in September, but that might not be super useful for your information. So what we've done here is we've got some additional just general marketing text for you so you can understand exactly what it is that we're resolving. So regarding the accessibility remediation that we're working on in this sprint, this is a little additional detail about the accessibility audit that we did, the browser extension tool we used to do the audit, so you could see for yourself how that would work, and just some additional information. And if this is something that's important to you, you can submit information on this as well. And as you can see, we have this split up into sections. So we've got our design system, and what we try to do is categorize things in ways that might make sense to you. So if there's a large chunk of work on a particular item like Activity Finder or Layout Builder, we would organize them by section. Next, we have our on-deck release for December, which is starting to get fleshed out a little bit more as we go through. And actually, Avi, I'm noticing some kind of alignment stuff here at the bottom we can adjust. But other than that, like that's basically the upcoming releases. As we start to build out our community board for the March release, if there's stuff that, for example, you want to submit for an idea for the community related subject, you can come to this area, submit idea, and submit your idea. So I would like to do a volunteer campaign. How can the distribution help me? And again, just some quick feedback here. If I'm already on the site and I've been playing around, it'll leave my email in there, so that'll make it easy for me to just not have to re-enter that. It does make you confirm your email, I think, multiple times, unfortunately. I did have a request in with their team to see if that's some way we could only have you do it one time. So if you come back, maybe it would understand your email. I have not heard back from them, but currently it is a little bit of a pain to have to do that. But just know that when you submit multiple areas of feedback currently, you have to confirm your email multiple times. And then last, we have these new ideas sections and under consideration sections. So as we start to come up with ideas, people submit ideas, people come up with bugs or other experience improvements they'd like to have. What we'll start to do is fill out these new sections here under consideration and new ideas. And as you see, new ideas doesn't really have anything in it at the moment because we really want to hear back from you. And so what happens is you guys will submit ideas and requests into the system, and we can discuss them as a community back on the YUSA side with our technical team. And we can start prioritizing based on your feedback, exactly which features are going to be really important for you. So I would say that the sections that are coming up that are going to be important that you might want to go through would be this under consideration section, and then the planning section as it starts to get fleshed out, because these will be items that we'll want your feedback on before we start to build them. Once we hit these on deck and in progress areas, we're more in a space where we understand a lot of the requirements. We're refining those requirements and making sure that we have everything scoped properly, and then we move them down through this line. So I would say this kind of half of this menu here is a lot of stuff where we really would love to hear your feedback on. This stuff here, less important because a lot of it's scoped out, but if there is direct feedback on launched items, again, super happy for you guys to submit any feedback you have here. So if there are issues with any of the recent versions of Layout Builder, maybe you tried to build some hero banners and you had some trouble, you can always submit that information here. I know a lot of times people submit stuff in Slack, but this is just as good of a way for us to realize that you have issues. All right, so I know I just took a bit of time there, so I'm going to just very quickly show you how to submit information or feedback on the program and sub-program request that we just had. So if I go to the December release, and I might actually move this up a little bit just so you guys can see it. There's a card here for Layout Builder, program and sub-program content types. And I have a highlighted item that says request for feedback. So please, if you have not answered the poll, because you don't know, say you don't have your YMCA association site up and you're not sure if you're using the program or sub-program content type, that's fine. You can submit feedback here and we will still receive that feedback and we can add it to our responses from this actual poll. So with all that said, I will hand it back to Kylie.
So we're very excited for you guys to come in and use that. We hope it is valuable, and most importantly, we hope it creates transparency. As we get into those new items, your vote, if there's something in there that you want, voting on it will make it increase the quickness that it gets done and gets built. So we've always worked on a system of the more people asking for something, the quicker that we build it out. So if you have a group of people within the community that you know are looking for the same things, let us know and we'll try to get it to you as quickly as possible. Let me just get the screen share quickly back up and okay. This is just a quick recap of the poll. Avi, CKEditor 5.
Yay. Yeah, so we've talked about CKEditor 5 a bunch of times. We just wanted to reiterate and explain again what to look forward to. So this is going to be coming in the next release. It's something that was built into Drupal 10. CKEditor is the WYSIWYG, the word-like, however you want to describe it, editor, the rich text editor that you use in your site when you're building pages. So it's all of the little icons that help you format and change the lists and embed images, all that stuff. CKEditor is a separate kind of application that's developed by different people than developed Drupal. And so it's a whole external thing that other systems use. And with Drupal 10, the Drupal community worked with the CKEditor community to help release CKEditor 5, which is a whole kind of new rebuild of that. It's really a whole separate application that's built into your Drupal site. Some of the features there, they totally rebuilt the user interface. So it's much more kind of up to date behind the scenes, should be faster and look a lot cleaner. There's new media and link toolbars. Oh,
sorry, it's freaking out.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, so you can see in the middle of the page here, it makes adding links and images in line a lot easier. Will help you do alignment on those, update your images and change them, add alt text, all of those things it assists with right in your editor. It's also got table building built in. It has some auto formatting that'll help you, like, convert copyright symbols or trademarks or different symbols there, and a ton more. Andre's put some other stuff in the chat. Better accessibility for mobile. It can work with Layout Builder, it looks like. Yeah, and they removed a lot of legacy code as well. So yeah, that's what to look forward to. So it's, as we've said, it's a separate migration process from Layout Builder, from Drupal 10. In the June release, we have not changed anything for content editors. You're still using CKEditor 4, which is the version that pretty much everybody would be on. We're working on the upgrade path for CKEditor 5. So there's some custom website services, OpenY plugins that we've made. There's some community ones that we're using, and we're working on the upgrade path for all of that. And then CKEditor 5 is going to come in the next release, but you'll be able to use CKEditor 4 if you like, for an indefinite amount of time. It'll still work with Drupal 10, and that migration will be separate. It'll be separate from the update to Drupal 10, but it will be automated. So the only thing that wouldn't come over in that migration is if you have developed custom buttons for CKEditor 4, like a countdown timer or like a custom image embeds. Those things would have to be rewritten for CKEditor 5.
Awesome. Okay. And thank you guys for sticking with us through all of that information. We are just at the community resource side, which means we're coming to a close on today's conversation. Just a quick reminder, as we always do, and not that we haven't drilled the documentation and things, but we have all of these things available to you, including Docs, YouTube channels, GitHub, and a Slack channel. And now we have added to that a community board, which you can access through both the Docs and the website here, these two upper ones. So thank you for using those resources. And then also just let us know how we can help and support you. With that, I just wanted to say thank you and see if there was any quick questions that before we go. It looks like, there's a couple here. I think Avi's got it, but how How is all of this going to translate on phones and tablets? I think that's a question with regards to CKEditor, Avi.
Sure. So yeah, I'm not totally sure. It says currently the mobile versions are not good. It does look like CKEditor will have some improvements. It'll be easier to add content on mobile and edit those things. But that's definitely something.
Yeah, so one of the biggest changes in CKEditor 5 is accessibility, and they reviewed the way people are using these WYSIWYG editors and found that having a lot of buttons at once on the first level of CKEditor creates a non-convenient user experience, because those buttons go to like multi-line experience, which you have not that much of the property on your mobile screen. So with CKEditor 5, we tend to see less fast level buttons. If previously, just a short example, if previously you had embed video, embed image, embed document, and embed block links, now it's one button, which with a model window, which fits 100% of your mobile screen, where you can choose which of the doc types you will be uploading. These kind of experiences please expect from CKEditor 5, but again, the reason why Shelley provided that ideas portal alongside with roadmap, this is where please provide your feedback, because we can rely on that feedback while we build a great path for CKEditor 5. Thank you for your question. Avi?
Awesome. I don't think there's any other questions. Let me know, guys, if you have anything else. Feel free to stick your hand up or just yell at us. Thank you for those of you who answered the vote question. We really, really appreciate it. Unfortunately, it's almost a 50-50 response, so we're going to figure that one out as we go.
Actually, Kylie, this is a great segue. If you're able, those of you who said yes or no, if you're willing to go over to the roadmap site, find that card in the December release for the program and sub-program category and submit whether it's critical or not critical, or
do you like it?
Yeah, whether you like it, any other feedback would be wonderful. And that way we can get some additional context behind that vote. So thank you.
Okay. Can my vote count twice? Yes. For sure, Taylor. Thank you guys so much for your time today. Unless there's any more questions, Tom, I'll turn it back to you.
Great, yeah, no, thank you all for coming, and please tell your friends, spread the word throughout the community. We need more people on this call and more voices heard. You know, I'll keep my dad jokes to myself, so I'm not going to kill attendance. I just want to help attendance. Having said all that, I will be posting this to the YMCA's Digital Services YouTube channel shortly. Yeah, feel free to email me at ycloud@ymca.net if you have any questions or need anything, and I look forward to hearing from all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, team. Take care.